High Tea in the Bath, and this is my friend Boris from down the road.
Welcome to High Tea in the Bath. I'm Gail, creator and manufacturer of beautiful, natural bath and body products using only natural and organic ingredients. Today, we're going to make a candle together. Not just an ordinary candle, but using our beautiful hand-cut mosaic glass, I'm going to show you how I pipe the icing on the top of the candle towards the end. So stay tuned, and there's a chance that you might actually win the candle that we make today. So stay tuned. First of all, I have measured my Eco soy wax, which, as I've explained before, is completely non-genetically modified, which is why it's labelled Eco soy. Don't use any palm ingredients at all, and everything is completely cruelty free. First of all, I'm going to explain to you the parts that I'll be showing you and the process of the candle making, and then I'll go to the microwave and actually melt the wax. So first of all, I have here my hot glue gun in order to glue my wick into the candle. Then I have various other things which I'll show you how I use them as I go along. I have the fragrance already measured out. Today I'm going to be using champagne and strawberries because that is the most popular candle fragrance. I've got some gloves because I'll be handling colour, and it's actually a dye. It's not like your beautiful organic colours that are used in the soap making or the body products, but the candle colour is completely different, so you do have to be careful. I have here a little gun which will measure the temperature of my wax to make sure it's at the right temperature. I have some piping bags. Normally I would use this size nozzle, and I would of course use a much larger bucket because I would be making a couple of dozen candles at the time. Today, however, I'm going to use a disposable piping bag, and I've got some nozzles to show you as the next stage comes along. So excuse me now while I melt the wax, and I'll be right back with you. Now our wax has melted. Just going to test the temperature with a little gun. Perfect. I'm going to put some gloves on first of all. Excuse me that they don't match my dress. And we'll pour it into the jug, but I'll leave enough to be able to whip the icing so that we can pipe it on when it's almost set. Transfer as much as I need to here so that you can see it. Pop in the fragrance, pre-measured, saving a little fragrance for the icing, and a few drops of the pink colour, hence the gloves. Colours, the candles are not very forgiving, so make sure you do them in a very safe place. 3 drops will be enough, more than enough for our large mosaic candle, which I will remind you will burn for around 120 hours. The wick I've chosen is a large wick so that when the wax melts down, it will melt evenly down, not creating a pool in the middle. This is my hot wax gun, glue gun I should say. Just going to glue it to the bottom of our container, and in order to straighten and make sure it's connected to the bottom of the glass, I'm using a metal straw. We don't like plastic straws anymore. Just give it a good push. And I remove it. Now I'm going to pop the paddle pop stick on. We call them paddle pop sticks in Australia. I know you Kiwis call them a popsy stick. This will keep the straw, keep the wick in the middle of the mosaic of your candle holder. So again, it will burn down evenly. Now we'll give this a bit of a stir. Just giving it a bit of a stir. Now I'm going to pour carefully into the container. It's just starting to set. So that's about 3/4 of an inch from the top, so that we leave room for the lovely rosette piping on the top, so that it doesn't come up too high or your box will flatten the roses. So now we're just going to wait for that to set, and then I'll come back and show you how I pipe the rosettes on the top of it. Now I'm going to use a small beater today because I'm only making one candle, but normally the equipment I use would be this and this. This is large enough for our one candle today. The texture is almost set, so we're going to add the rest of the fragrance, and no colour at this stage. And I'll start my little beater. Okay, I think we're done. Just move this out of the way. Now I have a disposable piping bag here, as I said, and I'm just going to nip the top off. I have chosen a nozzle today, one of my favourite rosette ones. Now I have got nozzles, as you can see, hundreds of them from all around the world, including New Zealand and Russia. And I have plastic ones, which are a little more forgiving if you're a beginning piper. But with the metal nozzles, you'll get more detail and a much nicer finish to the design. Now we'll move some of this. I have here a piece of Glad wrap, and this is the secret to getting your variegated colours into your piping. So first of all, I'll pop some of the icing into the piping, into the Glad wrap. Setting very quickly, and I'm going to add some drops of colour, and some onto the Glad wrap as well. Just a few drops there. Roll. So that when we pipe it out, we'll get a variegated design. Now make sure you're using butcher's paper or an old cloth underneath your work surface, because you won't get the colour out with candle colour. It doesn't come out like soap colour. Okay, so I'm just going to nip off one end that I've screwed up here. Pop it into the icing bag, and that way if I have to, I can get 2 or 3 lots inside my one disposable bag. And I'm going to start piping. I'll do a few practice flowers first so you can see how it's going to come out. First of all, we'll do a few little practice flowers. Can we get a close-up view of these flowers? And because they're starting to come out perfectly already, I'll start piping the candle. Can we get a close-up on the piping? Good. Okay, so here we go. We're just piping the little flowers just like we did here. And we're getting them in a variegated white with pink tips, which is exactly what we want. Now I do warn you that your icing has to be at the exact right stage of setting, otherwise if it's too runny you won't get nicely formed flowers, and if the icing's gone too hard then they'll just crack and break on you. So that's our finished iced product. Hope you can see that. We do have a wick trimmer, which I highly recommend for trimming the wick down to 1/4 inch before you use it. I'm trying carefully not to wreck the flowers on there. We have a snuffer. This one's an antique snuffer, I think you've seen before. And buy yourself a really nice lighter for the candle, so it makes it a special experience. Now, if you write to me on my Facebook page or my YouTube page and make a comment on why you think you should have this beautiful candle for yourself, then I will just pick the answer that's the best one and send it off to you. In the meantime, don't forget to give me a like or a subscribe. Go to my website. At the moment it's 20% off every single item until 31st of July. And we'll see you next time.